Just days ago, the party departed for Verse. Along friendly banter and a rule scene, they witnessed a strange occurrence. The very fabric of reality tore open before their eyes, spitting out a dying wizard. The group decided to deliver a mysterious, magically encrypted letter they found on him. Their first destination is Blauwade, a small village near their original goal, which the wizard mentioned with his final breath. While making camp, Gunthor's stubborn pride led to an impromptu hunting competition between him and Ra-El, while Ra-El, ever the skilled hunter, returned triumphantly with a large deer. Gunthor, too proud to admit defeat, settled for what he believed to be a divine golden hare. In truth, it was a half-rotten rodent, its fur stained yellow by fungus. Undeterred, Gunthor devoured his so-called prize, leading him here surrounded by bushes and the distant hoots of mocking birds.
Ah, what a crappy day.
A rustling catches your attention, consistently growing louder, getting closer. The cracking of twigs underfoot sending a clear message. This day is about to get even crappier. Gunthor, still groggy from your earlier ordeal, hurriedly fixing yourself up, grumbling curses, adjusting your belt. Before you can take another step, 5 ragged figures emerge from the undergrowth, forming a loose circle around you. Their clothes are tattered, their faces shadowed by grime and desperation. Each grips a crude weapon, knives, clubs, a rusted shovel. One of them, a wiry man with a patchy beard and a hungry glint in his eye, steps forward, tapping a wooden cudgel against his palm.
We were hoping for a little good fortune today, and what do we find? A lone dwarf, heavy with coin and light on friends. Be a good boy, and hand over that coin purse of yours.
Oh, I see how it is. The DM, the dice, fate itself. Everyone thinks they can have a laugh at old Gunthor. First, the blasted hunt, then that questionable meal, and now you lot think you can shake me down like some helpless whelp fresh out of the mines. I crack my knuckles, voice growing louder, more defiant. I've had just about enough of everybody pushing me around tonight. The birds want to mock me. My companions watch me squirm. Fine, but I'll be damned if I let you be the ones to put the cherry on top of this miserable night. I reach for my weapon, standing solid as a mountain. Come on then. Let's see if fate's got another joke in store, or if I'm about to make you. The punchline.
Strong words. Did you bring your weapon and shield to back it up?
Of course I did. You really want to do me this dirty?
DM, I think if he would bring his pouch, he would have brought his gear along. Especially being a trained soldier, and us being out here in the wilderness.
Exactly.
You're right. I can't argue with the logic behind this, and being overly petty will not make this adventure more fun for any of us. Ra-El marked down an inspiration. While we at it, Elia, you get one as well, for how you handled the dead of the wizard.
Neat.
Thanks, DM. That will come in handy, no doubt.
Elia, shouldn't you get one anyways? Since you're a human and everything.
Humans get an inspiration after every long rest, sure. Let's just see if we even get to rest.
What about me?
Nice try, Gunthor, but no, you don't get an inspiration. But hey, I'll throw you a bone. These fine gentlemen clearly underestimated you. You've still got your weapons, and if you act fast, you might just catch them off guard. First strike's yours.
Now we are talking. All right, my eyes blaze with fury. I unsheathe my sword, raising it into the air, letting it gleam in the moonlight for the briefest of moments. You poor, clueless fools. You think you can rob me? Me, Gunthor Stonefist. I've faced beasts twice your size. I've fought men 10 times as fierce. And I've drunk ale stronger than your resolve. Then I bring it down with all my might, right at that cocky bastard who just disrespected me.
Roll for it.
It's a 17 and max damage 11 points. That's what happens if you mess with Gunthor. For my bonus action, I call in reinforcement. Davos, bad guys.
The edge of your sword cleaves effortlessly through fabric and flesh alike, splitting sinew and shattering bone. The wooden club in the marauder's grip splinters apart, fragments scattering into the underbrush. A wet, heavy sound follows, flesh meeting earth, the final punctuation of a life abruptly ended. The body slumps, motionless, its stillness an undeniable testament to the absence of life. The remaining marauders freeze, their eyes wide with shock as their fallen comrade lies still on the forest floor. For a moment, the only sound is the whispering wind through the trees and the distant crackling of the campfire beyond the brush. Then, one of them, barely more than a boy, clutching a rusted shovel, takes a shuddering step backward. His grip slackens, and with a dull thud, the shovel slips from his hands, forgotten in his desperation to escape. Without a second glance, he turns and bolts into the darkness, his ragged breath fading as he disappears into the night. The remaining three, though shaken, steel themselves. The air between them is thick with tension, the moment stretching thin before the inevitable violence resumes. Their initial shock twists into something darker, vengeance burning in their eyes as they grip their crude weapons tighter. Roll for initiative.
Got a 12.
14 for me.
That's only a 7 for me.
I rolled a 16.
All right, the turn order is set. First up, we have Ra-El. Davos follows. Then comes the first bandit, still reeling from the shock of Gunthor's brutal strike, but determined to retaliate. Speaking of which, Gunthor, you're up right after him. Let's see if you can keep that momentum. The second and third bandits follow, and finally, closing the round, we have Elijah.
I go in, using my speed to get all the way over here, then I swing my glaive trying to cut the guy in front of me down. Only a 9. Guess that misses? But the mastery over my weapon will deal 4 points of damage anyways.
With uncanny agility, you dart forward, rushing toward the chaos like the predator you are. The moonlight catches the gleaming arc of your glaive as you move with feline grace, fluid and precise. In one seamless motion, you swing, the curved blade whistling through the air in a deadly bow toward the nearest marauder. He reacts on instinct, ducking low and twisting left in a desperate attempt to evade the worst of the strike, but he's just a fraction too slow. A sharp, wet slice cuts through the night, and a severed right ear tumbles to the dirt. The marauder recoils, eyes wide, clutching at the fresh wound as crimson spills through his fingers.
Good move, Ra-El. I will follow up on what you have started. I grab my crossbow and slide down the hill. Then I get in position and shoot. 15. Hit. That's 8 points of damage.
Boss, as if moving through a well-rehearsed choreography, you grab your crossbow in one fluid motion. With practiced ease, you slide down the small hill, boots barely disturbing the earth beneath you as you sprint forward. Your sharp eyes scan the battlefield, seeking the perfect vantage point. Then, in one swift movement, you drop to a knee, steady your aim, and fire. The bolt whistles through the night, silent, deadly. The marauder, still reeling from the loss of his ear, doesn't even register the danger until the projectile buries itself deep into his throat. A wet, gurgling gasp escapes his lips as more crimson splatters the ground. He staggers, his gaze drifting upwards toward the cold, indifferent moon. And then, life vanishes from his eyes as he collapses to his knees, slumping forward into the dirt.
Time to put this to an end. I try to strike this guy. 16, but only 8 points of damage this time.
You shift your stance and swing your blade upward in a brutal arc. The edge of your sword carves through cloth and flesh alike, splitting the marauder's chest open with a deep, jagged wound. A strangled cry escapes his lips as he staggers backward, clutching at the gash. Though he still stands, the damage is undeniable. Blood seeps through his fingers, his breath ragged and uneven. He's not dead yet, but the devastation written across his face tells you he knows it won't be long. The last unharmed marauder, regaining his senses, makes a snap decision. This fight isn't worth his life. He uses the disengage action, turns on his heels and bolts, feet pounding against the dirt as fear driving him faster than any fortune could. Meanwhile, the badly wounded one isn't as quick or cautious. He stumbles backward, clutching his gaping wound, dragging himself away with sluggish, desperate movements. His escape is far from clean, slow enough to leave himself wide open. Gunthor, if you wish, you have an opportunity to strike him down before he can crawl any further.
I take it. 19. With heavy, deliberate steps, I follow the crawling wretch, my boots pressing deep into the earth. as he struggles forward. I plant my foot on his leg, letting him feel the weight of his failure, the sheer futility of his escape. He freezes beneath me, breath ragged, as I lower my blade to hover just above his back. Leaning in slightly, I speak slowly, my voice like grinding stone. A word of advice: if you ever reborn, never cross a dwarf when he's tending to private matters. Then, without hesitation, I drive my sword through his back, silencing him for good.
Wow, you are a menace.
Thank you for the flowers and for your help. I must admit, you are an amazing hunter.
You should thank Davos, he took that guy out. I barely grazed him.
Thank you, Davos. You're as good a shot as a musician, and a reliable watch.
Don't mention it. Even with the bubble guts, you are still a Force Gunthor. Glad to have you guys as company. Gives me more faith in the road ahead. What should we do with the bodies? You want to just let them rot?
Probably not. They might attract wild animals. I can live without other surprises tonight.
Spare me with that. Maybe the little Miss Pius can at least clean up if she couldn't do anything else.
Excuse me, do you have a problem with me? It can hardly be my fault the fight was over before my turn. And honestly, was that savagery really necessary?
No, I'm just tired of digging. Are we adventurers or gravediggers? And you're right. Next time, I'll just let them clobber good old Gunthor, and then we can all sleep in peace and holiness. I step away, dragging my sword through the grass before rinsing it in the creek, then head towards my bedroll, done with the night.
Can you believe that guy? I am just trying to keep the morals in check and he feels attacked by that? Seems like he's the problem, am I right?
Look, Elia, it's been a hard day for him. Cut him some slack. All right? I don't think we need any infighting.
I speak a prayer for the fallen and the living. Then I also head back to bed.
All right. I look for the shovel that guy dropped earlier. Then I dig. And bury them.
I help him, trying to recover my bolt while we at it.
Patiently together, and soon your task is complete. Davos, you successfully retrieve your bolt, clean it, and place it back into your quiver before returning to camp. The shift changes as the night watch continues, though nothing else disturbs the quiet darkness. By morning, you all wake feeling well rested. Breaking camp, you gather your things and enjoy the last of the venison stew for breakfast, a hearty meal that fuels you for the journey ahead. Now, the forest stretches before you. If you travel swiftly, you may reach Blawade before nightfall, sparing yourselves another night in the wilds. How do you wish to proceed?
Progressing faster. Hell yeah, I'm all for it. Anybody against sleeping in a proper bed tonight?
That certainly sounds like a good plan, but we shouldn't rush ahead mindlessly. I'd rather we make steady progress than charge forward like a headless chicken. Rael, why don't you take the lead? I can assist with guidance or keep an eye on the map to make sure we stay on the right path. Something like that. Does that work for you?
That's a good strategy. Sure, I take the lead.
Aye. Leave me the rear. I keep an eye out for any vagabonds.
And I play a upbeat song making us marching long.
Let's go.
You move watchful but steady, making good progress along a path that seems nearly forgotten by time. The overgrown trail winds through dense underbrush, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and wild herbs. The sound of rustling leaves and distant bird calls accompany your journey, a reminder of the untamed wilderness surrounding you. After a few hours, the path begins to fade, swallowed by nature's slow reclamation. At first, it seems as though you've lost the way entirely, but after some careful searching, you spot a faint trail just beyond a thick wall of tangled bushes. With no way around, you are left with little choice but to clear the path. Rael, you take the lead, carefully cutting through the overgrowth to forge ahead. Make me a nature check, with advantage, thanks to Elia's assistance.
That's a 19. What do I discover?
As you press forward, a peculiar sight catches your attention, a spot where the vegetation is strangely absent. The ground looks disturbed, unnaturally bare compared to the rest of the forest floor. Rael, your instincts kick in, and you lightly tap the area with your foot. The moment your boot makes contact, the earth crumbles away, revealing a deep, gaping pit beneath. A crude but deadly trap, expertly hidden. Thanks to your sharp awareness, you step back just in time, avoiding what could have been a disastrous fall. Moving with renewed caution, you press on, soon spotting another similar trap further ahead. With careful navigation, you sidestep the danger, ensuring the party moves along swiftly despite the rough forward. Terrain. A peculiar sight catches your attention, a spot where the vegetation is strangely absent. The ground looks disturbed, unnaturally bare compared to the rest of the forest floor. Rael, your instincts kick in, and you lightly tap the area with your foot. The moment your boot makes contact, the earth crumbles away, revealing a deep, gaping pit beneath. A crude but deadly trap, expertly hidden. Thanks to your sharp awareness, you step back just in time, avoiding what could have been a disastrous fall. Moving with renewed caution, you press on, soon spotting another similar trap further ahead. With careful navigation, you sidestep the danger, ensuring the party moves along swiftly despite the rough terrain. Then, a new warning presents itself, not through sight, but through smell. A foul stench clings to the air, thick and rancid. The unmistakable reek of decay and beastly musk fills your lungs, sending an instinctive shiver down your spine. Ahead, half hidden behind dense thickets and jagged stone, yawns the dark mouth of a cave. The smell of death and predator lingers heavily around it, seeping into the very earth. Something dwells within, something that feeds. What do you want to do?
We surely won't get in there. Let's continue our path. In case we have to make camp again, I don't want to be anywhere near whatever lives in there.
Can I find any
tracks? Let's get out of here.
Finding out what kind of beast lives inside, or if it is even inside?
Give me a flat nature check.
14.
As you examine the ground around the cave entrance, you find many tracks pressed deep into the earth, evidence that whatever dwells here is not a passive beast, but an active hunter, roaming far and wide through the forest. The sheer number of prints suggests it moves frequently, marking this entire area as its territory. Yet, the tracks themselves are strange, unfamiliar. The hind prints are large, powerful, leaving deep impressions with significant claw marks, as if built for launching or tearing. In contrast, the front markings are smaller, more irregular, as though whatever creature made them moves in an unusual gait, perhaps hunched, perhaps leaping. One detail draws your focus among the many overlapping tracks. Some appear fresher than others. You think, but cannot be certain, that the most recent ones are leading out of the cave, not in. If that's true, then the creature may not be home, but assumptions can be dangerous.
You are not really considering going in? Do you?
No, you misread my intentions. I am just trying to get as much intel as possible. Let's move on.
Deciding that lingering near the cave is unwise, you press on, quickening your pace. The scent of decay lingers in the air a little longer than you'd like, but soon, the oppressive feeling of the predator's den fades behind you. The forest, dense and tangled, gradually begins to thin, the path beneath your feet becoming firmer, more traveled. The sun hangs low in the sky now, bleeding gold and crimson through the treetops. Shadows stretch long across the ground as you push forward, urgency driving your steps. Then, through the breaks in the trees, you catch sight of it, a dark silhouette against the fading light. A tower, its peak just visible above the rolling landscape ahead. Blauwade, relief sets in. Another hour's march, maybe less, and you'll reach the village. Shelter, rest, and perhaps the first real answers to your journey await.
Ah, what a sight. Finally, it started to feel like an eternity. It was turning into 4 versus wild.
I can't wait for a mug of ale. Nothing goes over drinking with the village people.
As your thoughts drift toward the promise of warm shelter and well-earned rest, reality yanks you back. The steady rhythm of your march is broken by the distinct sound of something approaching, fast and deliberate. A sharp, musky scent hits your nose, thick with the unmistakable tang of a carnivore. It clings to the wind, primal and foreboding. The underbrush rustles, branches tremble, and in the dimming light of dusk, something is coming straight for you.
Oh hell no. Let's make a dash for it.
I don't think we are able to outrun it. Even if one of us makes it, you really want to lead this thing to the village?
This leaves only one option. Ready yourself for battle.